Call this meeting to order and stand for the pledge.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America
and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Thank you. Amendments to the agenda.
I have a very quick one. Under new business, can we add a transit-oriented planning grant? Approval.
Transit-oriented.
Planning grant. Please.
I'll make a motion to add a transit planning grant approval under new business B.
Second.
Thank you. All those in favor?
Aye.
All right, thank you. Approval of minutes, January 10th and the 19th.
Want them individually or can we do them both?
No, I think we've had to do them individually.
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes from January 10th as written.
Second?
Aye. Second.
Additions, deletions, corrections? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. And the 19th.
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes of January 19th as written.
Second.
Thank you. Same question, deletions, additions, deletions, corrections. All those in favor?
Aye.
5 minutes for public comment. All right, we'll get back to that. Department head reports. You're it.
It's me. We're gonna start out with the Fairhaven Pet Mayor Program. We're getting that wound up again this year. So you can find entry forms at the elementary school and here in Town Hall if you're interested in entering your pet in the election. Moving on to the police department. The police have seen 108 traffic or municipal violations, 18 warnings. We've had 2 crashes so far this year, and 1 overweight permit. And
One what kind of permit?
overweight.
How did they do an overweight permit?
How? Yeah. If somebody's just passing through, they gotta get a permit from each town.
That's not an overweight permit, that's just a,
Well, yes, it would be. They have to get one from each town.
And the revenues for December are $15,109 from the police department. So they've been doing pretty well.
15,000?
15,109.
8,000 that is from the school,
Yeah,
for the SRO.
Oh, okay. That,
So that cuts it down,
8,094.
yeah, that cuts it down to $7,000.
okay. Still not a bad monthly thing, but I'm not sure. Besides fingerprints, where was that all coming from?
It's on the back, on the.
I'll look at it. Don't,
Right here,
I'll look,
Bob.
yeah.
27, just what I.
Fingerprinting is the big one.
$1,285.
Okay. That's a lot.
That's really all I have for the police. Other departments, for the sewer department, Eli Charlton, our intern, he's taking his provisional licensing test, and Carrie, the plant operator, she's taking her water test, so that way she could,
Good.
yeah, she could operate the water plant as well in Rock River Wood. I wanted to touch on that just very quickly. Overall, we've cross-trained staff, and we're continuing to cross-train staff and hire staff to fill in positions as needed, like the interns. As an example, the office staff here, and myself included, we can all do most of the payroll and accounts payable now. So if one person goes out, processes still continue. When the accountant left last time, it was kind of tough. Everybody had to learn the process. So now everybody's kind of up to speed, which was a goal of ours as we move forward. For the water plant, the tanks are installed up at the water plant, those chem tanks. They were looking to, last I heard, which was late last week, they were trying to fill them with water so that way they would settle down, settle in. I don't know if they managed to fill them.
Make sure there's no leaks and stuff too.
Yeah, before they fill them with chemical.
Yeah, I was up there, they done a good job, it looks good up there. You know, they hadn't got things really cleaned up yet, but it's coming real well.
And then we have a new intern at the water plant. Our other intern had left to find greener pastures. Mr. Nathan Jones is our new intern at the water plant. He started yesterday.
He's a good boy.
Yeah, I mean, seems like a good,
He seems very sharp.
He's at the house a lot.
That's what I got for DP. So the highway department, most of what they've been doing is maintaining that equipment and then plowing the roads these last few days. So they did a great job. We really have to give them some credit. The roads, as I came in, they were, I mean, you know, I come from Middletown Springs, bare, where I come into town here. Everywhere between here and my house was just an awful mess. So we did great. And for Patrick, he came in and asked about that bus stop. The bus stop is being plowed out.
I got actually I got 2 calls about the down stuff in the cemetery, so it's not just me.
The branches.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's some big trees down in there, over in the back.
Blow downs, and then there's some big branches down. It'll take a while.
Yeah.
From my office, to let the board know we're on schedule for the budget, town meeting and everything. Town meeting, the town report, the budget, and the bond vote are all on schedule. So we're right where we need to be right now. Thank goodness.
Did anybody get permission to use the graded school for town meeting?
I called. Yeah, they knew we were coming, but it's always nice to ask because we don't need any surprises. And we have internet access as well. The warning.
We have to.
We talked about the bond documents. The town report is out for print. Right now I'm working on more tax sales. I did postpone the trailer park until it gets a little warm outside. If people want to look for housing, it's inconvenient to do it when it's so cold. So we postponed that until I think late March.
The tax sale?
For the trailer park.
Green Mountain Road, yeah.
Yeah. For lights in the park, that project is moving forward. The bid documents have been developed and the money from the state is being obligated now. I said no later than the second week of February, those documents will be released for bids. And that's what I got for you today.
Good.
No old business. Has anybody got something? No kidding? Mileage certificate approval.
Yep, so annually we had to do a certificate of highway mileage. There were no changes again this year. The board just needs to sign this and I'll have the town clerk sign it tomorrow.
Just a question, we had last year when we took the Munger Road and turned it back to a class 4, does that get included in here?
Wasn't that always a class 4?
Always been a class 4 road.
Yeah.
That's always a class 4. That's why it's not,
It was,
that's why you're not supposed to have it blocked off.
It's not on the V-Trans maps and V-Trans is not counting it.
Well, but it's always been a class 4 road.
but I
Yeah,
thought,
which they probably don't, those are considered trails.
that's why we addressed it a year ago and said, okay, just in case you need it for the record, the minutes show that it's a class 4 road. My understanding is we contacted Montpelier to get it listed as a class 4, and we ran into a little bit of a snag.
Not so much a snag, but it's more than just, they want us to follow the process of turning the road back into a road. There's a whole warning process where the board has to, review the road and say it's actual road, and there's.
We did that through our minutes and everything. Are they just looking for my frustration is, we talked Munger Road multiple meetings for a year with the different makeup on this board. Got to it, got agreement that it was class 4. We had enough discussions, we brought people in. Just what in the heck does Montpelier think that they want that is more than what we did? Because we did more than one information meeting, and we have the documentation that it's done. If they're just looking just to send the documentation to them, and then they put it on there, good, or are they looking with their hands out and want us to pay them money?
It won't affect that because that's,
You get no state money for a class 4.
right.
Right, but
They're particular about the process. It's a very dedicated, the board just can't come and say, today, that's a
I
road.
would think, could you get us whatever, my frustration is, it seems like running right into that wall every time we talk Munger Road.
It's always been a road in this town.
Yeah.
It's been a class 4 road since the town started.
When we pulled the documents, it came back as a trail, Jay. That's
Well,
why we-
that's a class
Where
4.
they started the problem was when they closed the gate and locked it. That's where the problem is. The gate should be open, that key lock should be taken off, they should finish this end of it and have it over with. That's where you're fighting against City Hall every time you turn around.
I think a class 4 is a trail, considered a trail, isn't it?
No, I think
That's different.
the trail is after you've given up a class 4
Right,
road.
and the state actually encouraged you not to take class 4 and turn them into trails. That,
Yes.
from everything I was reading. That's why I'm a little, but all I look for is, fine, what is it that they want? Let's give them what they want, and let's get the,
I don't know what does it have to do with the state to begin with.
but, because once again, with
We
the
don't
solar,
get any.
with the solar going in there and everything, more and more critical that road is what it needs to be. And I will just saying my frustration is we seem not to be able to get off the dime on a Munger.
You gotta have access to that solar field, correct?
Absolutely.
They're not from there,
They're coming in from.
They're coming in from-
Sheldon,
from the,
right?
Well,
That's
I'd
what
be,
they
Or are
said.
they coming in off in?
they're coming up.
Scotch Hill?
Scotch Hill, or, no, the access is gonna be, well, I don't know. That's a very good question.
the last time, my understanding was
Very good
that
question.
the solar arrays, they're gonna wanna use Munger Road, cause they're also, we're looking at the other property that was up there for, what was it? It's not solar panels, but was there a substation or something?
Substation.
A substation going in, and that's coming in from this end.
All you
Yeah,
gotta
that's
do-
coming.
All you gotta do with a class 4 road, if the police people are putting in the solar system, is give them access. That's all you gotta do. You gotta give them a right to go across the property. This town-owned land.
And again, wasn't looking to take a whole lot of time, but I'm just saying.
Because I got a schedule here, mister.
I understand, I just want the board to understand that there's still some issues of getting that Munger Road showing as a class 4 road with the state.
Wanna make a motion?
I'm gonna make a motion that, we accept the mileage certificate, which includes, it's a total of with the state highway of 10.5 miles, it comes out to 36 miles, .405. Let's see what that is when you go 14.
That includes Route 4 also.
Which is where because we used to be 26 forever. So yeah, 10 miles of that, okay. Is that
Make a
it?
motion.
Okay. Second, please.
Second.
Thank you. Everybody know what we're doing? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Those opposed?
We sure everybody signs it, just one here, one here, one here, one here.
Okay.
Okay,
Everybody sign.
transit-oriented planning grant.
Yeah, so, Devin Neary reminded me that there's a grant out there from the state, to help us plan our transportation hubs. He had recommended downtown Fairhaven, but we've done kind of a lot of planning down there, even around transportation. So I had recommended up here by Route 4 and Washington Street. Seems like there's a lot of growth going on in that, potentially a lot of growth in that area. And plus we have the school. So Devin said that's a great idea. And now I'm bringing a letter to the board asking for approval to apply for this grant.
What's the grant for?
It's a no match grant, and they're gonna develop a plan for for transportation up here.
What's there to develop?
So
I mean,
this-
you got a main road down through there. What's there to develop?
So this will help us in the future.
Right.
If we
Explain to me how.
if we get a lot of development in the area, we're gonna need to handle the traffic that comes in and out of it. And this will help us there, on both sides of
Once
that highway
again,
over here.
they've got extra money, they're just gonna spend it some way, and they want the town to sign on for it. It's
Don't see what's wrong with
ridiculous.
it.
Everything's there. I don't understand.
Well, if you put a hotel in there, how is it?
Jesus, they're gonna come out of the driveway and go down the road.
Yeah, okay, all right.
What's
He's not wrong.
what's the difference? They just put the
Because-
truck stop in up there.
Yeah,
They didn't do a study on the road for the truck stop.
It just doesn't seem like, I don't understand what the problem is that you
Because
have with
it's
that.
so much crap all the time.
Yeah,
And
but-
that's what it is.
I think, can I just,
Go ahead.
just say, I think what it is, you know, there may be another call for an additional traffic light or a left turn lane or a right turn lane that will need to be added in there at some point in time. So that's what this is all about.
They didn't even bother putting in a turn lane for when they put the drugstore in up there. They've got a turning lane going into Shaw's, and everybody uses that to go left.
And I don't think that's an ideal situation.
It isn't.
So it's a possibility that this is gonna help us here.
I don't.
I- I'd like to make a motion to sign the transient planning grant approval
Sure.
letter.
Second.
Any other questions, comments? All those in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed?
No. It's just because it's just another way of spending money.
It's gonna get spent on somebody else, it might just go be us.
I know, that's a good way of looking at things.
Well, you know, you can go ahead and take all the austerity measures you want, but why would, it hurts the town, I don't get it. I don't understand.
Somewhere along the line, it'll cost the town. There isn't, no, never mind, I'm not even gonna bother getting into it.
Are they signing this one as well?
Yes.
Policy review, burial expense,
Yep, so we're just trucking down the list of policies. A couple years ago, we started reviewing just to kind of freshen up everything and make sure it's the way the board wanted it. This is the burial expense reimbursement policy. I haven't made any changes, and I don't have any recommended changes. It seemed fine. It's not a policy we use very often.
Motion that we accept it as written.
I'll second. Yep.
thank you. All those in favor?
Aye. You thought you were gonna have trouble with it, didn't you?
You never know.
Oh, things happening. What's happening?
Not a ton. So we're still planning on a meet the candidates night on February 25th. Although I think we're gonna change the location to the library. Cause it's gonna be a little cool outside February 25th. Possibly snowy.
Yeah.
And Jay, you had to correct me. Is it an Elvis tribute?
Yeah.
Saturday,
Saturday 28th.
the 28th. And that's at the Castleton Legion.
Yep.
Yep. And that's all I really know.
Tickets are going well. think
I was gonna say,
we got 20 left,
Oh, well, that's good.
good.
so.
Yeah, I hear this kid is
It's a
good.
good fundraiser.
And I hear there might be a fundraiser for, the hardware store, Gilmore's.
I believe they're having
There's
a
actually,
breakfast.
there's actually two of them, I understand.
I believe they're having a breakfast. The Castle Fire Department's putting a breakfast on the 29th.
And there's,
And that's the day after the Sunday after the Elvis thing. I believe that's the one they're doing for Gilmore's, I believe. I think.
Yeah, I think I've seen a poster, and, the Legion,
At the Castle American Legion.
Yeah, breakfast, that's Sunday, 29th. There's a Castleton Fireman's Breakfast, and I believe it's to benefit Gilmore's. Or, you know, what they're
there's
doing.
also one down there,
yeah,
correct?
the Legion is gonna have one the 4th, which is a potluck supper, bring a pot, wanted to make it community, they're gonna donate the money they would've spent on spaghetti or something.
They have a band too or something.
And they're gonna have a band, they were gonna have a dance anyway, so now they're just taking the money and whatever they get for that. And
Yeah, I thought I saw a sign where there was a dance.
SAL these are all over town,
When is that, Bob?
the 4th. And
March
these,
4th, February
February
4th.
4th, these stickers are $5 a piece, they're all over town, you can go any place, you can get them here too. And that's for the work, Gilmore's working fund. So far, they're getting some work in, I don't know how much, but anyways, that's what that's for. Anything else anybody knows about? Okay. Any parking lot stuff? Next meeting, could we get a breakdown of what we spent on ARPA and what's left and where we're at?
Yes.
Zoning regs are, finally moving along. We got the grant. The grant, essentially what they're doing now with the grant is they're answering the questions that the grant asks, and some of them, most of the grant is focusing, as is every place in the state of Vermont, on housing, how you making housing accessible and how you're doing that. So, we're answering how our changes have done that, and, there's nothing outstanding at this point as far as changes in how we make it easier to put, housing in, but we can come up with answers to the grant. Those are there. We've got a meeting the 15th with, what's his name? Ed Bove. Yeah, you can think of it, brain. Ed Bove. So he will he will be meeting with the, he's a special advisor now to them. And that's his bailiwick, is going around setting people's stuff up. So we're pretty much done. There isn't anything gonna be added unless he comes up with something that he sees it's a glaring mistake. Now it's down to getting one. Since I've been on that board, nobody on the board had the same zoning copy. So you know,
When's the meeting with Ed Boo?
the 15th, a Wednesday, the 15th. Okay, and the town plan will follow right after that, and there's not gonna be a lot of changes to that, I don't think.
Could I touch base on one more thing for around town? There's a blood drawing the 31st at the Fairhaven Legion from, I believe it's 12:30 to 4. And they really need blood. It's typo is the biggest one that they're looking for, but it's, I just, and I think there's one in Castleton too, but I'm not sure what the date was now.
31st of January.
Of January.
I don't know if this will help you, but this is in our bag, that's the ARPA funds.
Oh, okay.
Well,
I did it last meeting.
pretty much.
Is that from the last one? I thought,
Yeah, that-
I always thought that was, because we changed it, I thought it, okay,
I'll bring an updated copy.
all right. Board roundtable. Rich?
Well, the only thing I basically is continuing to tell everybody we need a new town barn. We gotta work towards that. And that's very important to our town to get something good for them guys to work out of. And I certainly want to extend my appreciation to them guys for the last few storms, that they've done an excellent job. And they definitely need our support. And basically, that's all I have at this time.
I have a couple of questions about your revolving loan. Who's on that committee?
The Economic Development Committee that's looking at it, or
Revolving loan, the one that takes.
that's,
So that's the economic development,
That's
that's
economic
me,
Well,
Glenn,
I'm upset
and,
because all of a sudden you send another letter out trying to get participation on it, and you had an application for this. Someone was asking for $13,000 and you turned them down. The application was in here before the deadline, and it's my understanding you decided you're gonna wait and put it out again and let somebody else come in and work at it. I mean, it's a local business, downtown, and you guys refused it.
there's a process that we review it. We don't refuse it. We
You
look.
refused it.
No, we didn't. We
You told her
have,
to wait.
absolutely.
She was in here, she had the application in here before the deadline, when it was supposed to be in here the first time around. All the information was in there.
Jay, all I can tell you is the process involves this board. Once we review the applications, it isn't the first one who runs in and puts an application in that gets it.
Well, you don't even get anybody.
We will review the applications. The way the process works, the applications that meet the criteria will come to this board, and this board makes the decision.
I heard different. I heard because the person that applied for the loan, which has nothing to do with me, because of her husband sat on the select board, you turned it down.
No, we did, I don't know where you would have gotten that, but
Well,
that's
I'm
not.
sorry, but this is a crock, because the application was in there, everything was in there done accordingly, and it was in there for the meeting it was supposed to be in there for, and you just told her to wait. Well, when you have people working, when you have contractors, you don't tell people to wait. This is supposed to be to
Again-
help, this is supposed to be here to help a business. And you're
Again,
turning
there's a
them down.
process we use, Jay.
Don't tell
And
me the
we're-
process.
no,
Because
but
if it was,
I think you
if it
need
was
to know.
Mr. Nelson, you'd have okayed it that night. So,
I'm,
it's over.
there's
You
more
guys did what you had
there's
to
more
do.
that'll happen, but quite frankly, you're wrong. Your
I'm not
information is wrong.
I'm not wrong.
But,
I know what I was told.
well, I think you were told incorrectly.
I don't think so, not by the person. that told me.
We have not turned anything down.
Then why are you all advertising it again?
Because we want to make sure, in
Wanna
fairness
make sure.
to everybody, that people that are sitting on the inside and have the inside track, that it doesn't look like that we take care
What do
of
you
a
mean
few
inside track?
instead
What do
of
you mean
them all.
inside track? It was advertised.
Again,
And she was told by the town manager to apply for it.
we haven't refused any, and the process
I
is
don't-
working.
When will you be making those decisions?
We actually have a deadline of March 1st for the applications to come in. I think we have a special, we have a meeting on the 6th where we'll be.
Deadline was in January before.
I'm just telling you what's happening. We'll
I
be
know what's
meeting
happening.
on the 6th. Those that apply, that meet the criteria will be brought forward to this board. On the 7th, when we meet, and you'll be able to make, as a board member, you'll be able to make the decision
I won't
as to
make the
who gets
decision.
or not. And I would probably recuse myself if I were you from that decision,
Don't
absolutely.
have to worry about it.
Okay. But
I think your process is wrong. You advertised it, you put a deadline out. The deadline was the person that had the application in before the deadline,
I'm,
and everything was there. and then you turn around and decide you guys are gonna push it out again and make a different deadline.
Gee, I don't wanna argue. with you.
No, I don't either, but she wasn't even asking for the amount that she could get. That was the best part of it.
Again, all I can tell you is nobody has been turned down. We're still
I
in the
don't
process of collecting
Stop your
applications.
talking, Glenn, because it's just making it worse.
Well, I'm not, just not gonna give you
Nobody.
what you want
There
because
was one application, Bob.
So
There's-
there's two applications.
there's two, and I'm not certain we won't have more by the March 1st deadline. There
Well,
should be
you
an
shouldn't have
article,
changed it. You sh- the
there should
deadline
be an
shouldn't have-
article in the paper. What's
You
different,
shouldn't have had the deadline in January then if you weren't gonna honor it.
the revolving loan
Don't talk.
started with USDA. We
Don't
now
talk.
have our own money and we have our own new process.
You're
So
wasting everybody's time, Glenn, just forget it.
I don't think so. I think we have a very good program as long as we protect the integrity of that program.
Yeah, I know, but I don't think you are, so that's beside me.
I'd like to learn more about it, cause I'm not up on that yet.
We're gonna be we're working on, because we went from USDA to the town has the money, and the USDA isn't in the picture anymore. We've modified the rules for even the interest rates and everything else in that document. Once the Economic Development Committee sees that document on the 6th for the last time, they'll be forwarding it to this board, and this board will be reviewing. You can modify it as you want, and you sign off on it. You signed off on the USDA document that we did last time. We have another one coming back for you.
Well, the only thing that concerns me is that if you change the deadline.
I don't know what he's talking about for deadlines, because
The deadline was in January because you had to have it in there by a certain date before your meeting.
Lorraine did ask to apply, and I said, yep, bring it in January. But we had yet to advertise the program. We can't make it look like we're favoring one person over another.
plus
Never mind,
We
I
do
said,
it-
just forget it.
Plus, the
Forget it.
process is a person comes in usually, instead of sending a letter, so that we can ask them questions.
She had to go through all the records, had all the records that she needed and everything else. You know, it's just the same old thing. It's the same, nothing changes.
I'm sorry, I
And
disagree.
I'm gonna tell you, I probably, this isn't the place to say it, but you gotta stop being the assistant town manager.
You're-
A whole different story.
I'm done.
And you got anything else?
No.
Too much for this meeting. That's what I have. I have to speak my piece. The comments about things not changing, but yet every time we talk about making investments for the future, Jay, all I hear is no. I don't get it. I think I think this conversation around the revolving loan kind of crossed some sort of boundary in my mind, but I won't get into that. I don't know. I think we need to invest more in the future.
I do too, but you have to use common sense in what you're investing. You can't keep applying for grants and using our matching grant fund and wait 4 or 5 years down the road, because there's other things we could spend this money on. I agree with you, we've gotta look at the future, but come on.
If we don't do it in that way that looks 4 or 5 years down the road, it's going to cost us more now. We have to do it in a way that we can afford it 4 or 5 years down the road.
Even if you get approved, you don't get nothing for 5 years, 4 years.
I get that is
That's true.
Let's look at our lights, let's look at the park, let's look at the,
Yeah, that's,
But that means you have to keep on
you know.
figuring down the road, and you
Hands are
have to
tied.
figure on,
yeah, it's, the decision,
on improvement.
the decisions you make
Well,
now
for
are
one-
for 5 years down the highway, or 10 years down the highway, you know?
Did the grant go out for the water line? Or didn't you have to fill paper out for a grant for this new water line, or?
We have to have the bond approval first, and then the grants go after
When
that.
will that be voted on?
March
Is it gonna
7th.
be in, is it on there? Okay, okay.
All that aside, I did want to mention, and also in similar vein, thank the The guys out there plowing, from here to Rutland, our roads look the best first. And I certainly was super appreciative on my commute into work early in the morning. That and things around town. I gotta put a shout out to the rec basketball program. It looks like a bunch of kids are having fun, not only with a weekly clinic that's being put on for all kids in the area, but the town rec program itself. The boys and girls are doing pretty well, learning a lot of basketball and enjoying themselves. So, good things happening. That's all.
I only had one thing brought to me, and it was after the storm, the sidewalks in front of whether the merchants or the town, after the snowstorm that we had, it seemed like out in front of Durfee's, they did a good job of cleaning their sidewalk. There were a couple of them downtown, but then there was some like the laundromat and whatever, they were pretty rough for quite a while. I don't know, is it the business owner's responsibility to take care of their sidewalk?
Always been a controversy about that,
So there isn't a set.
because the town has plowed them. And they've gone in with the bucket loader and pulled the snow off when there's a lot of snow. And I think a lot of the merchants just feel it's up to the town to do it. Most of them, Durfee's have always taken care of them from their place. They go out and shovel the snow, salt it and everything else. But Wooden Soldier does some, but there's a lot of them that don't. It depends on how much traffic is going in and out of the store. The bad part is people gotta walk down the sidewalks. So I don't know, for a long time, it was supposed to be a 50-50 deal. I mean, if the town took the snow off, you went out and salted your sidewalk. There was nothing ever in writing.
Well, as we're filling up store frontage, which is a good thing, it was just a question that if do we need to talk about asking our folks when they take the sidewalk plow to?
You look at the older businesses, their sidewalks are cleaned,
Right.
because that's something they've always done. And where different people have moved in, you just see a different phase, and I don't know how to even approach it.
Most places take care of their own sidewalks, businesses, most of these cities do. I mean, especially during business hours, they'll go out and sweep it off, clean and salt it for their
And it was just a question that someone asked, and I said, I don't know the answer, I'll ask.
We should try to research if there is any policy floating around. And, see what I know it's gone both ways.
Yeah.
So
I know
it's
yours.
probably not, too evident to the people that are down there. I mean, I would think they'd wanna keep it open.
I think your argument's gonna get from, well, you plow the ones, all the regular sidewalks, the town plows them, but
Yeah, but
to me,
that's-
that's different, because that's for the public, that's for our kids going to school. I mean, I think that's a totally different, and I agree, I think you should look down through the policy, see if there's something about the sidewalk in front of businesses.
I don't think it would be a bad thing to run the sidewalk plow down through there. I don't think that would kill.
The only thing I'm gonna say about this is, I mean, we have what, 48 hours to get them sidewalks cleared off after each storm, is that?
I don't
I don't
even
think
think
there's any kind of.
We don't even put a time on it. I just
Okay,
say
but anyway,
we've got
but then usually it's the next day or two, if, depends on the day of the week it falls on. And the businesses, they should be clean instantly.
Yeah.
Because as soon as people walk on that stuff, it's back down in ice.
Then you're ice, then you got ice.
Yeah,
So
if we
they
do
should
something-
really be out there
Well, it would.
cleaning it.
If it was my place, I'd make it comfortable to get in.
That's correct.
But
That's correct.
Yeah, and then the other thing is, who's liable?
Well,
Where does the
that was-
liability lie?
Someone slips
mean,
because we don't.
I don't know, but I'm just asking.
I don't know.
Because if the liability is laid on the property owner, that's one thing, so you'd expect them to go and clean it. if the liability lays on the town, if somebody goes out and starts to clean it and throws salt down, somebody falls on it, do they say, well, they took care of it?
The,
I mean, that's why I think you gotta look at a policy.
the town has sovereign immunity until they know that there's a problem. So, and it's not enough to say, well, it's raining, so you gotta know it's icy. Somebody has to tell the town that there's a problem, then the town has to get in there and fix it in a certain amount, a reasonable amount of time, or they lose that sovereign immunity.
I know a lot of the cities, if you don't have your sidewalk clean, you get a ticket.
I think Rutland's like that.
I think it is
I
too.
think
I
Rutland's.
don't think we have anything like that, but
That's- look
we
at
may
the
wanna,
policy.
we may wanna think about something.
We'll
So it's a
research it
little
and talk again maybe on the 7th, as a,
And see if
when
we
we
can find
come
something.
back together. I just, that's all I have.
Okay. The town report, who's printing that?
Reprographics.
It may be too late, but if you can call them and ask them if you provide labels, maybe they could label them and send them right from there rather than have them come.
Yeah, they print, what do you call it? Okay.
The address
I'll
labels?
ask, yeah.
The address labels?
Yep.
If they can, if, you know, then we don't have to handle them here.
Yeah, you'd have to take the labels over from here, correct?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, or you probably can just send them electronically and they can run them off on their own label machine, but if it's possible, it's just, it'd save one step. The other thing, I don't know if you've been seeing, but we may be visited by the old project of running the cable down through Champlain again. That's, New Hampshire voted against it, Maine voted against it. So they're kinda, I haven't any indication that that's gonna happen, it's just that we should be aware and maybe rekindle those efforts. I mean, for us, it means that essentially what it does is they dig a trench along the highway and out along 4, and we get to charge property tax for all the time it's in Fairhaven. And the cable's that big.
And that's Champlain.
And
That's called
it's-
Champlain.
We get to charge an inordinate amount of
The
taxes.
Whitehall project started
It's
already.
Get it?
The Champlain Hudson.
Is it gas, electricity, what is it?
It's electricity.
Electricity that's run down on the bottom of Champlain and then they ditch it and bring it in, right?
They're coming out at,
So it's an electrical.
on the New York side, they're coming out at Pulpit Point Road and coming, following 22A down. Cause I had to sign an easement for them on some property that I have.
Well, this would go through Fairhaven on Route 4. It ends up in Ludlow anyways, or Cavendish.
Yep.
But, I mean, that's what it used to be, who knows?
There's two different projects. The one over there is going to New York City.
Yeah, and this one's going
This
to
one's
Boston.
going towards Boston area.
Yep. Anyways, that'd be a nice thing. It was a nice revenue project when it was talking about before, so keep your ear to the rails. Okay. Financial reports?
Make a motion to accept the payroll for $43,818.87.
Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed?
Make a motion to pay the warrants of $105,210.43.
Second? All those in favor? Aye. Those opposed?
And the checkbook status is $1,212,048.38.
You're gonna have to repeat that, just a minute.
Sure.
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
The checkbook has $1,212,048.38.
Do we have a, school payment coming up? Or is that,
I think that hits in March. I'll have to look though. Yeah, quarterly.
or taxes must be coming in well? Property taxes must be.
Property tax, water, there's always a flow.
We don't have it until February anyways, right? February 10th.
Okay. We have an executive session on there, is there anything?
I'd take 5 minutes with that one.
Right. Is there, what is the?
Oh,
See, I didn't, it just says,
oh, I'm sorry, I didn't put the number.
Here's what you can do. Wing it.
VSA
Yep, one.
313
A1.
A1. I'll make a motion, we go into executive session for personnel under 1 VSA 313 A1.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed?